You're listening to the Live Free podcast. I'm your host, Christine, certified life coach, pain to power mentor, and creator of Embody You Mindset Mastery School. I'm here today to discuss living life after disease, disaster, or adversity, to discuss living life fully once again, a life of hope, peace, and resiliency, a life fully embodied. I utilize the lessons that I learned going through not one, but two primary cancers. I'm here today to guide you to the life of your dreams, turn your pain into power, and lead you back to yourself. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Live Free podcast. Today, I want to talk a little bit about how to make life more effortless. And my disclaimer is that life cannot always be effortless. Effort is part of the polarity that teaches us how to enjoy rest. So the yin and the yang, the go time and the relax time. So life cannot always be effortless, and I'm definitely not an advocate to 10 steps to everything is going to be perfect kind of person. I instead am somewhat the opposite. I like to teach that there is an ebb and flow to life, and that when the different more difficult parts of life show up, as they inevitably will, that there is a resilience there that we can draw from. Okay, so that's my disclaimer. So moving on to the subject matter of how to make a life of more ease and more effortless. So there are some beliefs that some people subscribe to that I also subscribe to, which is there are junctures in your life that are going to happen whether you like it or not. And those sort of events, larger events, are somewhat predetermined prior to you coming into this body, into this world, into this life, that are going to test you somehow. And they're going to test you to become the person and learn the lesson that you came here to learn. And that the belief is as well that, these are, somewhat according to fate. Now, your belief system is yours, and you do not need to believe the beliefs that I have by any means. So, take all of this with a grain of salt. But for the purpose of this podcast, I do want to talk a little bit about those junctures. And what I believe those junctures are there events of some kind, whether or not they're predetermined on the specific event or not. I'm not sure, but I do know that there are points that are challenging and are meant to be challenging. For me, I, so far in my life, have dealt with cancer, with divorce in my family, and as well as sexual assault. So those are kind of my big junctures that I have dealt with in my life that have caused me to make a choice. And it's interesting because looking back at all of those different junctions, I have come out much stronger and much more purposeful as a result of all of those, and they've really driven me to the person that I am today, and the person who is out here to help and to help other people have stronger boundaries, have more self-respect. I love teaching women, and without without any of those experiences, I don't know that I would be so driven to teach empowerment, because all of those different junctions, they have really drove home the point for me that you must have internal strength and reserves, and you must be able to weather the storm. And then, pick yourself back up and keep going. So this is not a podcast about me and my stories. It is instead to lend hand to the idea that these junctions are part of a choice. So we have a choice when these things happen to learn from them and to move forward in life, and to use those items as magnets for your abundance and for your happiness and for your dharma, your purpose, the things that, make you in your life. Or alternatively, you can identify that pain as, something to draw from, something to attract people feeling sorry for you and those sorts of things. And I know that that's easier said than done. And this sounds like a generalization, but, truly it is so true. So many of us, we wear our pain on our sleeve like a badge of honor. And that badge of honor says, hey, I'm important because I've had a hard life. And the problem is with that is that so often we attract more of how bad it is because we're toting, how important we now are because we experience how bad it is. I hope that's making a little bit of sense there. So life is a series of choices, okay? And I believe that these junctions that we have in life, that you can take the hard road to the junction or you can take the easy road. And then after the event, then you can take the hard road to the junction or you can take the easy road to the following junction. And what I mean by that is living, or how do we do that? What's my question here? How do we do that? Living in authenticity is how we make it easier. So many of us, we have such a strong pull to do what our neighbors are doing, to do what our TV is telling us to do what these gurus, including people like myself, are telling you to do. And when you're not in authenticity with yourself, you aren't able to create expansion and magnetize the things that you'd like in your life because they are inauthentic to you. So your vibrational pattern that you have as a human, the way that you are drawing in good or bad things into your life, and again, that's a label thing, not good or bad, but I mean expansive or non-expansive things into your life, needs to be in line with who it is that you are on a deeper level. So if it's not authentic for you to have a daily meditation practice where you sit on the floor with your hands in a mudra, then don't do it. If it's not authentic to you to become a yogi and drink ginger lemon tea out of a handmade clay pot that was from some ethically sourced online business, you get the picture I'm drawing. If this is not authentic to you, then don't do it. Now, that being said, this is not a hall pass to say, well, it's authentic to me to binge watch Netflix and drink beer and all of those sorts of things. That's not a hall pass to do those things. It's instead a encouragement to live in your authenticity. So if authenticity, say you're a sport watching, beer drinking kind of person, then your authenticity is sports and fine tastes, right? Or wheat tastes. So something that you could do along those lines is physically play the sports, get involved, be a coach, something like that, or, become a occasional beer drinker that really enjoys craft beers and sourcing, proper flavors and those sorts of things. So that's a little bit more of a soul fulfilling as opposed to just pleasure seeking. So the reason I say all of these things, this authenticity, is because it is my belief that the deeper that we can live in authenticity, the softer these junctions become, these blows that we get to. Because, and the reason I explain this is because when I was first diagnosed with cancer, I did all the things that I'm used to doing. I did the spiritual bypass. I did the, try to do yoga. I did the try to eat organic, non-GMO, the whole thing that I was prior to my cancer diagnosis. And what I found out was I was just too worn out. I was too tired. I was too sunk to be able to keep playing this playwright that I believed that I was. And it was fascinating because I thought that I was feeding my soul, that I was making my life better by pushing to be and do all of these things that, that these gurus told me to be. And so then when I'm, in this place of hungry, angry, lonely, tired, due to all of my treatments, then I found out that was effortful for me, that was extremely effortful, and not even in like a happy way, because effort is important, but in a soul deprivating way. And I found out that I really enjoy being with people, and I really enjoy teaching and having purpose. And I learned that I really enjoy relaxing once in a while and, having healthy snacks and binge watching magical kind of TV shows and movies with my husband and all of those sorts of things. And I found out that I enjoy really bassy, happy music that's kind of tropical sounding and those sorts of things. And the reason that I bring up all of these different enjoyments is that my train of thought prior to cancer was, okay, well, in order for me to be happy, I need to control my environment to the point where I'm in complete peace. And when my environment is at peace, then I will be happy. So what do I mean by that? I mean, I listened to podcasts on self-development when I was in the car. I listened to really relaxing, very chill coffee house sort of sounding music. I did yoga every day. I did, I didn't eat any sugar. I never watched TV, the whole thing. And then come to find out that, I loved balance. I loved everything. I loved to sit in the car and jam out and bass out and blast my tunes. I loved, and it was so important to me to get together with my girlfriends and have that connection piece and all of these different things that I was really putting off in an effort to try to control my environment, so much so that I would then be happy. And as I said, come to find out that was so effortful for me that it was drawing from me because I couldn't do it when I was hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So you're getting kind of the picture here of what I'm saying is that if you want life to feel that there is more ease, and if you want life to feel that there is less effort, then align with the person that you are. And create effort around things. So here I'm drawing it in. You're still doing your effort. If you want to live a good life, there is going to be a purpose, a portion of effort. But it's effort, it's inspired effort. So it feels very, very different from effort to effort. So effort feels like, okay, all right, I'm stressed. I'm running out of time. I really need to do my yoga and do my meditation and then my gratitude practice. And then I got to go get groceries that are organic. And then I need to drink ginger lemon tea with my yoga group and blah, blah, blah. And it just feels like such a long list. And you're just like, I don't know how I'm going to fit this all in. Whereas inspired effort is going to feel like, you know what? I really enjoy walking, and yeah, I don't really want to go for a walk because it's effortful. But that being said, I can see that this is going to be something that's really going to add to my day. So I'm going to push, I'm going to give that little bit of, that light jolt of energy in order to push myself to do the thing that is authentic to me. And then you start to switch it. This is exercise too. Exercise used to feel like such a burden. I needed to exercise. And now I find exercise to be very cathartic. I put on usually some sort of YouTube video of somebody teaching something about health. And I love learning about health. And I do a gentle walk. And that's what I do. And that feels good to me. And so suddenly I go from every day feeling so draggy and so effortful, and instead to this place of like, this may not be the conventional way of meditating. This may not be the conventional way of exercising or whatever this soul fulfilling practice is. And instead, it's authentic to me. And for that reason, it just feels lighter, right? So let's consider it. Where in your life are you putting in too much effort to fill in a gap that society's telling you to fill? Where are you being apologetic about the things that light your soul on fire, as opposed to what people say you should do? So if your version of peace and happiness and satisfaction, whatever term fits for you, if your version of that is working on cars and rebuilding engines and all of those sorts of things, then that is your meditative practice. And it's time to start reframing these practices that are supposed to be soul-fulfilling, and start to say to yourself, rather than, oh yeah, I really gotta exercise, this shoulding. Oh my God, it's just, the shoulding is the worst. I really should exercise. Well, what is exercise for you? Is it ballroom dancing? Because if exercise for you is ballroom dancing, then do it. If it's sensual dance, then do it. If exercise is, if you really enjoy chopping wood or being out in nature and cleaning up bushes and those sorts of things, then there you go. There's your exercise, right? Like, what is authentic to you? How can you create more ease in your day-to-day, in your practices that are meant to lift your soul up and make you feel better? How can you become unapologetic about those needs, those wants and desires? And then implement them. And implement them with a fierceness, because they are your practices. And as you start to do those things and implement those practices that are authentic to you, you will find that in between the harder parts of life that are there to teach you something, that you have ease. And when you get to the point of that more difficult kind of junction that is going to give you a choice to keep moving forward in a way that is, what has this taught me? What have I learned from this? And how can I implement it into my future life? Or instead, and alternatively, more damagingly, start to wear it as a badge of honor for a sense of importance. Can you see that if you are the type of person who is always asking yourself, what can this teach me? What can I learn? What can I grow within myself that both instances, the self-care practices combined with the more difficult junctions, that both of them you would be able to have the capacity to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I implement into my life that is authentic to me? That in both places, that if you become, really good and this muscle is strong, that when things pop up, you're going to be able to say, what would authentic me do in this situation? And then you can move through pain quicker, because you're allowing the you to be the one that you're loving in these periods where you need a little extra love, as opposed to, well, okay, what would this author, this podcaster, this guru tell me to do in this situation? Drop it. Don't do that. Leave it alone. Instead, what would you do? What would make you feel good? Ask yourself daily, every time something comes up, what do I need right now? Close your eyes, put your hands on your heart, and ask yourself, what do I need? This is huge, 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 huge. And don't say, what should I do? It's, what do I need? I need. Where's the I in that, right? So let's find our authenticity. Let's create more ease and joy into our lives, and stop fitting a mold. Stop doing what everybody else is doing, because half of us are brilliantly happy doing all of the conventional type things because they fit for us, and the other half of us are miserable and tired of to-do lists. Okay? So I hope that this has been illuminating and has added to your life in some way, shape, or form. And I will catch you on the next episode. So much love. I hope you go out today and you are authentic to you. Thank you so much for listening. If you found expansion with this last episode, then that means that others will too. And the best way to get the word out about the podcast is by leaving a review. I would be so grateful if you could leave me a review and let me know how you felt about the podcast. Included in the show notes will be everything that we talked about today, including all of my transformative programs. Change is just on the horizon, my